tourniqueting effectively. So capture this little end point there. Make sure it's taut enough, but when you pull it, you don't pull it so tight that you hugely indent the skin. You just want it to lay it down on the skin. There's a little bit of elasticity to this, so you pull it enough to make it taut. Go to the tip of the toe and just wrap around until you reach the base of the toe. When I'm going around in my circle, I cover about roughly half of the track that's already been laid down. So this next one here is going to come right about here. The last one, I just have enough to get to the base of the toe. I don't want to shove that in there, but it reaches the base, in other words. Again, this is my home base. I run it around the toe, behind the foot, bring it right over here. You don't want to be closing off the little pinky toe, and then I angle it down towards the second toe. Same exact thing. And as I'm wrapping everything, I really kind of keep my eyes looking down at the base of the toe to make sure I'm not blanching it. If you're telling me I can't feel my toes anymore, or there's really a lot of tingling happening, I gotta backtrack and see what I'm doing wrong. Make sure this doesn't fold up so much that it'll drive you crazy, and it will blanch things where it shouldn't. So it's time for me to run to the base of the toe. Sound effects not necessary. Same thing.
So we're doing every toe?
I think so, yes. I know some colleagues that never do a pinky toe, but I'm going to do your pinky toe. See how that's tough to not let it fold like that? So I'm going to backtrack, see where I went wrong. And I needed to spread the toe out a little bit more. And that's enough wrap for that toe. Around the base of the toe, below the pinky, fourth toe. I think I'm probably only going to need one full circle there. And there's your pinky. These don't last all that long, maybe a couple of wears. You can wash them maybe once, but they tend to fray quite quickly. I'm not inclined to cut this right now because there's going to be a lot of trial and error, and you'd be surprised. Well, gee, I have a lot left over. Oh, I don't have a whole lot left over. So I loosely lay this down on the top of your
So what you're doing right now is not necessary. It's just so we have enough in case we screw up.
Yes.
No, could she wear those little toe socks? You know what I mean? My girls have them.
Yeah. I have a product to show you actually.
Okay.
I know what you're referring to. There's probably not enough elasticity in that to compress it, but people have created things that are like that for swollen toes. When I do the foot, this is much easier to do with the 6 centimeter. This is an 8 centimeter bandage. Flex your foot for me. I'm going to create a little bit of a stirrup here, and it's not going to look right. There's going to be a lot of flapping around here of the bandage, but in a future appointment, I'm going to use a piece of foam to put it here, put the foam here to create more filling for your ankle, because the ankle has bony prominences that you can see over here that you want to fill in those gaps. So I'm running it behind the ankle, around, I'm going to back up. I want to put some of that puffy cotton that I brought over. It's a little bit more of a filler.
Your mother has plenty of that looks like batting.
Oh, that's good. That's a good thing to have. It's expensive when you get the medical stuff.
My mother
You don't want to use
quilts.
anything that has any glitter or glue or anything on it. Okay. Now, behind the ankle, I've got to keep my hand there. Run it all the way around the front of the ankle. Full circle. Now I'm going to run the rest of the stirrup down on the middle part of the foot. Around the forefoot. Up behind the ankle. Behind. And down. I did that twice. I could do it more, but because it's not fitting exactly how I like it, I'm going to do a standard run up the leg. and this is where it's a little more straightforward. I have, this is what I laid down last, right here. Cover maybe half of it, like so. And again, cover about half of that. I'm going to create this to be straight now, no more angling at this point. That's what I just laid down. Cover about half of it. Now here, it's easier to see how I'm taunting, what word should I use? I'm not tugging this. I'm just doing a little extra pull. When I pull around the leg, I'm going to come all the way up over the top of the leg and do another pull. You want to pull equally over and under.
Okay.
Over and under. And it's so convenient when it ends right behind the leg.
Which
It's
probably
tough
isn't
to
going to
get
happen
back
often.
there. It's tough to get back there. And when you're first learning this, use as much tape as you want, especially when you're anchoring or when you're laying down. and
So
you
you
want
use tape, not those little clippy things?
no clips.
Okay.
Only, not that those clips are close to the skin right now, but handling them, when I was first learning to do this, the instructor said there have been horror stories with people just nicking themselves with it,
Okay.
or
Oh,
placing
yeah,
it
yeah,
up
yeah.
here, scratching the skin. In meticulous skincare, that's the number one thing we advise
Right.
with. Stay away from the clippies. They're not
Okay.
effective, and they punch into the product, and it doesn't last as long. And this is not, it's not cheap stuff.
Okay.
When I'm rolling out, another tidbit to share, I like to roll out like this. It's easier to handle as opposed to
Okay.
this kind of thing. It's a little bit
Right.
awkward. You don't have to do it that way, but it's how I was instructed and it's worked. If you could bend the knee a little bit for me. I know it's heavy there. I'm going to try to, let's get the pillow out of the way.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You can see how it's compressing already.
How do your toes feel?
Fine.
See how I'm coming down here? Good refill in your toes.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to start where I left off. I want lots of layering. There's always more layering down here than there is up above. So to start right here leaves the potential for the fluid to build up
In the
in the
crease.
middle there. So I'm going to bring it down to right about here. Start it there. Pull, snug. And again, it's pretty up a straight shot until you get up to the knee. Is that okay how I'm lifting your leg?
Yeah, that's
I know
fine.
it's really heavy when you have all this bandaging on. Cover half of this layer here, not coming up there, but down here. Pull up. Cross. The tendency is to always do a little snug over here, and then people will just kind of come around and forget about that.
Pulling on top.
Yes. And I definitely want cotton behind your knee before I finish that. So if you could hold that for me. In fact, I can use cotton. I'm going to drop the cotton down a little bit, thank you. That's okay there.
Now, can I still do my exercises with this on?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yep. You want to do exercises with this on. It's going to feel like it's not as effective, but it is because it's the muscle contracting against the bandage.
Okay.
That helps to milk it up. You know what? I really prefer to use cotton all up and down the leg. I didn't use it here. That's not erroneous. I think this is better though.
It seems like it would hold better a little bit.
Yeah. Let me just smooth that out. You could use a little bit of piece of tape there, but. Okay. Now there's a special way to do the knee. Right where the knee joint bends, I create an X. So instead of a straight rolling up the leg, I start to X up firmly. And you may, if you can you see, get
Yeah.
a good angle here?
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to see the middle of the X there. Angle on up, maybe 90 degrees. Full circle. Oh, I'm going to run out of bandage. Full circle around the upper thigh. Let's pretend this is as long as I wanted it to be. This would come all the way down to here, and I would tape it there. Now, because it's not as long as I want it to be, oh, I hate cutting bandages, especially when they're in low supply. Again, we're in training mode.
Mhm.
Probably end up cutting this a bit to here, but I'm going to preserve it. I'm going to run it down your thigh a little bit, but not with the degree of
Pull.
pull. See how I just kind of laid it against?
Yeah, so every
Skin
time
like
it's
that.
probably going to be different. You just have to
Yep,
improvise
you
and just
got
make sure
it.
it's right.
That's the secret. There are a couple of different compression bandages on the market. There was another and they're all pretty much the same, but the length of the Rosendale, I think is what it's called, seemed to be just perfect for where I ended my twists and turns.
I suppose it imagines how big the leg is too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to start this not there, but again, remember what I said about not beginning right where you left off. I'm going to take it about mid-calf, and again, we're new at this, so we're going to use a
Tape
piece
it
of
off.
tape to anchor. Run it. Can you bend the knee a little bit more? Okay. I want to try to capture this flapper in the wind. And now I'm going to cover my 50% truck. There we go. Right up to the knee. I seem to be starting my X over on this angle. Doesn't matter where you start your X, it really depends on how far you get it up close to the knee. That looks like 45-degree angle. I think I said 90 before. 45-degree angle up. Full circle around the thigh. And then angle on down, making sure the kneecap is as much in the middle of this X as possible. The natural tendency is for it to be way over here where you can see it because your leg tends to flop out to the side. Now that you're done with your X, and I know there's a little bit of looseness there, but that's okay because we're going to capture it again, I'm going to run it straight up the leg, like so. And it ended right where I didn't want it to.
Again.
Which is why I keep my tape laid out already. There.
Now, why didn't you want it to end there?
Just when you do it yourself,
It's annoying.
it's
Yeah.
hard to get back there. So it's not wrong for it to end back there. It's
Just
a-
easier
yeah.
not to. Okay.
Sometimes, no, you can't predict that. I've tried starting it behind the leg, anticipating, oh, it'll end in the front, but it doesn't end up
Yeah.
that way.
I have both my knees done. I know it's impossible to get it exactly how you want it.
Okay. Next time you come in, whether it's with a bandage that is where it's supposed to be in the gift shop, or if we can find one within our department, we'll start the next.
So she
Look
can.
at my bag over here. Give me a moment.